Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing fine.
Good morning, Sadiq.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abbas, for that. Good morning, Samuel, Umar, Elizabeth, Fatima, and Modiba. I hope you're doing fine. So while we await for others to join, we'll just be giving them some few minutes to join us today so we could proceed in the session fully. Thank you so much for your patience. All right, once again, good morning. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Good morning, Felix.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sahaya. I want to appreciate. Yes, so I want to sincerely appreciate you for taking our time to join this session today. We are sincerely honored and we're grateful for your time and how you've committed to lending your expertise to discuss. We are sincerely grateful. On behalf of Disconnect Africa Initiative, we send our warm regards to you, and we're saying thank you so much. So without wasting of our time, I would go straight into this session. I know we've shared the resources with you, the brief as it regards to this session, and I strongly believe that you've had the time to go through it and also make relevant research that will also shape our session today. So first on our agenda, will be taking the welcoming section, and we'll also give you the session overview. So I would still be the one to do that, and I think I've welcomed you officially. So without wasting time, I'll go on to sharing with us just a brief of what the session will look like today, building upon what has been shared with us already, but then just to set the page for our conversations and to ensure that we're on the same page. So I will delve into that right away. So the session today is titled Foundation Sessions for a Strong Northwest Youth Ecosystem. The purpose of this session is to build upon the first session that we had together, which was the onboarding session, is to build upon that by being able to create a shared understanding of the youth governance and inclusion landscape across the Northwest region. Number two, it's also to position consortium members at the center of the discussions by drawing from their state-specific realities and practical experiences which you had over the years. And then the third is to also agree on a collective identity of the consortium and choose a preferred name. We believe that whatever we're doing, we value ownership, we thrive on co-creating solutions with the communities we serve and key stakeholders who are part of it. And this for us is very essential at Disconnect to ensure that we do not just make decisions, but we value each and everyone's contribution. They know this is a consortium, so we don't necessarily have the final say, and we don't want a situation like that. So we want to agree on some of the key things that we're working together, so as to foster ownership and to ensure that all of our diverse thoughts and experiences are being represented. And the fourth one, among others, is to clarify whether the consortium will co-create a Northwest Youth Agenda for a Northwest Youth Framework, ensuring alignment with the upcoming Northwest Youth Policy Survey findings, which will be going out in January, and then state dialogue sessions and the National Youth Policy for the adoption and also the implementation of the National Youth Policy across the 7 states in the Northwest region. So this is the reason for our gathering today. And just to set the base, we already have this document. And so these are just some of the key things that will be discussing today. So our emphasis would be that we should also ensure that we please commit to giving our diverse experiences. We value the work that you're doing in your own state, outstanding work, and we believe it's only critical that we get to also learn from the work you do and also inform our gathering today and subsequent engagement that we'll be having as part of this session. So we encourage that each and every representative from each organization here are open to sharing with us some of those things that they have seen over the years, and to also be open to sharing other further resources beyond just the presentation. We are open to seeing how we can coordinate in ensuring that all of the things that we'll be doing, all of the inputs that we'll be getting, are grounded in our state realities and are able to shape the conversations we'll have and the work we'll be doing as part of this consortium. So these are some of the overview of what we are looking forward for this session, and I trust that we'll have your maximum support, and that at the end of it, we will look back and say, oh, this session has really been fruitful, and then setting the pace for our engagement from today. So thank you so much. So before we also proceed, just briefly, we'll also be having another section as part of our agenda, grounding the conversations, where we'll be having Sadiq Abubakar Shehu come and brief us on some overview of some of the consortium scope of engagement, which we've shared sometimes back, but just an overview, just to refreshing us up, and then clarify some other roles and expectations and your participation as a member of this consortium. So Sadiq Abubakar, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear again?
Morning. Hello, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you for being here. It's very encouraging to see all of us here, fully and the organizations from our to
But your voice is not audible. Please, you have to raise your voice a little bit.
Okay.
Your voice.
Listen, so I don't know if I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, again, and thank you for being here. And it's also encouraging to see, all of us, Chigawa, Kaduna, Kano, and the rest. With the intention of, strengthening youth leadership and also ensure that young people are not just talking about leadership or governance in their own respective states, but they're actively shaping it, which is a very, very good initiative. So today I'll be talking about two things. First, I'll give a brief overview of the consortium, of the consortium scopes of engagement, and also I would spend most of my time, clarifying the roles of each and every member in this consortium, and what the membership truly means, and also how our collective responsibility will also guide, this conversation and discussions towards, further. So at the heart of of this consortium, at the heart of this consortium exists, we have a particular kind of structure, I can say collaborative and platform for youth-led organizations across Northwest Nigeria. So our scope of engagement here, I can say our scope of engagement covers policy influence, right, and capacity strengthening, which I believe would also be shared, the opportunity with you and you guys after that, and collaboration and also accountability at community, state, regional, and also national levels. So we are not going to work in isolation, right? We work in team. We are connecting, grassroots realities from our states to state level policies, and also enlightening these efforts into a stronger voice. So through policy dialogue, then through training, which I believe would have a physical training if they did, and through research, which I believe will be sharing a survey with you guys as soon as possible to get that to hear the insights, of you in your respective states. The concept is designed to go through individual efforts to collective impact. That's why we are engaging you all. So our voice here, we are not just coming up as a single organization, but rather, we are acting as a group. And so the new consortium draws its strength from documentation or maybe structures, both from commitment and also collaboration of its members. So participation, shared responsibility, and mutual respect is important. It's very, very important. So which I can see here that they are the foundation of this consortium. So as we believe, membership, initially we said, membership is limited to 20 organizations, but, due to the organizations we have at hand, we are only going to work with 17, while others are not responsive for now. And so we are going to work with 17 youth-led organizations across Nigeria, with priority given to NYSF grantees and others. And this also means that, absence or maybe silence or disengagement, is not necessary. We want active collaboration. We want a situation where every member should give their own quota, where every person is being supported. So we are not just going to be here, to just inside of contribution, speak up, and every member organization here is expected to participate in the consortium activities, which is very, very important, right? And this I think includes training, policy dialogues, workshops, summits, and also working with groups. Yeah, that is very important. So participation here means simply attending. Does not mean just coming to meet, just attend. So as I said, you have to contribute on ideas, you have to share experience from your own state specifically. You have to ask questions, which is very, very important. You have to ask questions, even if it is hard questions. Let's ask them here. And apart from that, you also be strong, would also be performing and also, also be taking responsibility for actions. Anything we discuss, you have to act upon them. So the role of focal person here, we said each and every organization should be, should produce one of their focal person in each organization. And their role is very, very important, which we have addressed that, right from the position of our communities, where each and every person, provided their own focal person. So the role is here is very, very important. You are not just focal person alone, or you would have your role here would, as a focal person, you serve as the link, between your own organization and also the consortium. So, and these focal persons are responsible for what? Attending meetings consistently, sharing updates from your own organization. So you're not working alone, making decisions your own self. You have to, work in the decisions of the organization. So, and also be coordinating, consortium activities internally within your own organization and also your own respective states. Ensuring that decisions taken are, understood, owned, and acted upon by your own team. So here the focal person here serves as the connector, as a coordinator, and as a representative of your own organization's voice within the consortium. So members are also expected to fulfill responsibilities within working groups. So when you commit to a working group, whether on youth policy, for instance, whether on governance, whether on accountability, or any aspect part of this consortium, you are committing your time to very active and your expertise to pay for it. So here the consortium moves from conversation to resolve this. And then finally, all members are expected to adhere to the core principles, which I believe is shared in the onboarding section, right? And one of the principles, which is transparency, inclusion, accountability, and also shared leadership. So, and these principles here would guide how we speak, and also how we represent consortiums, externally, which is very, very important, right? And then it is very important for us to emphasize that this consortium, is state driven. So the realities from Jigawa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Zamfara, Sokoto, which other states I have not mentioned, Kaduna specifically, I'm not sure based on personal information. The foundation for our discussion. So each member organizations bring what their local context from their respective states, their community expertise, and then the policy realities from their respective states, and also their youth voices from those states. And this is how we ensure that our work is, grounded, is relevant, and also credible. We don't want a generic, those specific responses will be, gathered, and from there we'll have a generic response to that. But each and every state, their organizations bring what the local context, into reality. They represent their state. So, I can say this consortium would be very, very, strong as commitment as we bring members to here with actively respect one another, which is very, very important as I mentioned. And also uphold the principles. So it would also these principles, as I mentioned, right, would inform policy, strengthen leadership, and also reshape governance actively across the association. I think this is what I have for now due to time factor. And thank you for showing up and for committing to our organization, right? So for choosing collaboration of organization. We still have more to discuss. We still have a lot to say, still have many things to discuss in this meeting. Thank you, Sanofi. The call is over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Vic, for taking us to that session. That was quite a great one. So moving forward, so we'll be going on into the main section, which is titled here State Level Perspectives and building upon the big book shared with you, where we would get you all to share your state-specific insight on this policy gaps, which you believe you've been able to make one or two research, issues relating to governance and inclusion challenges, advocacy opportunity for us, other OGP engagement, civic tech initiatives, and existing relationship you may have with ministries of youth and sport within your state, other ministries that are not particularly that of youth, and possibly the state assemblies and your state governments. So this is the part that we are delving into, and this is building upon one of the key purposes that has been outlined in this section. This is number 2, where we get to, sorry, just a moment. Yeah, so just the second purpose of the session, which is get to or you sharing your state level perspective. So I don't know how it's going to go like, but I've been thinking, okay, who should go first? But then part of my thought was if we could take it on an alphabetical order, and you would agree with me that as part of the Northwest, the question we are having is none other but Jigawa State. So permit me to please leverage on this so that we ensure we have order to the conversations and that they're able to gain these perspectives accordingly and well documented. So the representatives of Jigawa, we have son of Jigawa. We'll be glad if any one of you are available to please take the floor. Thank you so much.
My name is Mbaka Kaura, and I represent Jigawa, Jigawa State.
Thank you.
So I am pleased to contribute to this important discussion on this and increasing the ecosystem. We have series of from Jigawa State, we have a series of issues that are going on, which is include unemployment and employment issues, widespread of drug abuse and substance abuse in the state, youth were being excluded on different spaces, low association of political and overall engagement. And the first one is the lack of apprenticeship progress in the state. These are the main key issues that affect the youth of Jigawa State. So, regarding the accountability issues, actually there is open common partnership in the state, of which most of this effort exists in the of paper. Actually, is not going how it's supposed to be working. The implementation is very weak. So at least we need to, there should be better improvement on that aspect. And then especially the structure of the Ministry of Information, Youth and Culture, actually give us a serious challenge because we have a single computer that oversees the activities of the entire ministry, which includes the Ministry of Information, Youth, Sport and Culture. So we believe that if the ministry should be separated, for example, let's say Ministry of Information and Culture, then it is supposed to be given its mandate alone. I think all of things will do the infrastructure to be next much more than what we have in the state. All of the state whereby they have a minister dedicated, a commission dedicated to that ministry, which allows them to carry out a lot of activities that include the youth programs and initiatives that drive this change in that sector. So despite the challenges, we have other opportunities that we can use collaboration and provide data improvements, which include a lot of CSO in the state like Son of Jigawa and other CSOs that are working to ensure that initiatives are being pushed for inclusion and accountability and sustainability in the state. then our own set on implementing the children for the consortium. I think we go for our suggestion that while children we should identify and that will go at the down, we should address it, and then that will clearly reflect a platform that will show us, yes, we are. Since the consortium is going to be made for 7 places from the notice, we suggest that it should go to be a covered regional unity across other states. So we recommend that we should develop just a youth framework rather than agenda, because the framework will align that with the national policy and it ensures that accessibility beyond just short-term demand. It allows all the states, not all the several states in the zones, to be able to go back to their level with other priorities while still operating with one united regional direction. And I'm sure that this collective effort is going to support the outcome of the upcoming policies today that is going to occur in the future. And we also believe that the framework and strong collaboration, this network will just need to be included. We'll be able to be on the table, be able to voice our issues, affect people like us, the men, the youth, people with disability, women, and other issues on the table. So we see that this kind of opportunity will give an opportunity to lead the direction of government and state in our region. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those insights from Jigawa State. We sincerely appreciate you and the work you do. And we must also acknowledge some of the work that you've been doing in engaging your state government, especially. I noticed you also had a survey which you published to conduct a baseline as part of your ongoing project, which is also great, and other engagements that you have relating to your project. I think that's quite a great one, and it's going to go a long way for us, learning from those experiences as we further engage. We've seen how you also engage the Open Government Partnership co-chair in your state and other key stakeholders, from the State Auditor General, on local government and other works that we've done. This is quite outstanding, and we really appreciate you from that. So if we still have time, I think we might also just to get some perspective from Ahmad. I know you have been doing a great work here, but also want to get your perspective. But let's just move on to getting other responses first so that we can. But I don't know if you can come in briefly 1-2 minutes. I would like to hear from you. Some of your takes. Though I know your focal person has talked a lot, but we also want to get your perspectives on that. Ahmed, if you're there, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi, good morning to everybody. It feels good to be here. I don't really have much to say because our focal person has already spoken, so I'll just drop the mic and allow other people to say 1 or 2 things. Thank you so much.
All right, that's well noted. Thank you so much. So other representatives from Jigawa. Sorry, I'm trying to navigate through that list.
Yes, I just want to add 1 or 2 things. But before I continue, my name is Abdul Rasul. I have just 1 question regarding the consortium members. So, like, I learned that there are 2 categories of the people, that's individuals and there's organizational. So my question here is, what's the role of the individual grantees would see? Is it that necessary must have an organization, or an individual guarantee will also participate as a member of the consortium?
All right. So thank you so much for that question. So whether an individual grantee from the NYSS or what is it called now? The development grantee, you are part of the consortium. So we take you as an organization standing on their own. We know there's a lot of work doing in ensuring that the transition into a full organization but we are working with you fully as members of this consortium. So other members who might not be related to the market project currently or have engaged with them in the past. So I hope that's clear.
Yeah, thank you. So my decision opinion is I just want to highlight some key challenges. Okay, before the challenges, I just want to suggest the name of the consortium. Me, I prefer like the consortium should be named as
For the name of the consortium, we're having a session dedicated for that, so don't be in a hurry. Just go and make the contributions in terms of your state level perspectives. Subsequently, when we go to the session, we'll be sure to suggest the name. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the challenges in Jigawa State concerning youth ecosystem, one is there is a mismatch in education and skill. Actually, there is a gap that people have education, but they don't have the required skill that they can use in the labor market. So this one actually makes people to not to be valued to themselves or maybe valued to the organization that they are going to talk to. So therefore, we need to find a way that to bridge this gap between education and the skills that they require to be impactful in their working organization. So the second one is there is a poor access to start-up funding and the entrepreneurship. So there are a lot of people that they want to do like a business, but they have limited access to funding and the entrepreneurial skills they need to have to scale their businesses. So also this one is contributing factor to the youth in the Jigawa State. Then lastly, there is limited access to digital literacy. What I mean digital literacy is now the word now is IT based now. Everybody says IT. In any business you need an IT literacy for you to scale your business or even the working formal sector. So you need to have this literacy on digital skills. So there is a lack from our youth in the State of this IT skill. So what I think there's a need for us to develop something like this, maybe through really public.
All right, still there, Abdul? All right, I think the network has taken him off. So why we possibly yeah, possibly. So I think yes, I think all right, we've gotten his third point, which you mentioned limited access to digital literacy, and that has been well noted. So proceeding to the next stage, we'll be moving to Kaduna, and I will be inviting some of the consortium members we have from Kaduna. So I don't know who will be going first. I know we have the for Africa. If you're there, I think we can begin with you. Is there a representative from YAPI? Up for the, I mean. All right. If there's none, is there? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go on.
Thank you very much, Sadiq. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yahya Abubakar from YAPI for Africa, and I will be sharing some of the challenges or policy gaps that we are facing here in Kaduna State that are particularly concerning the young people. Honestly speaking, there are a lot of issues that are bedeviling the young people in Kaduna State that requires a lot of policy work to fill them. But I will mention a very few of them and see how we can forge ahead to resolve. Please, I want to believe that I am loud and clear.
Absolutely, you are.
Thank you very much. One thing that I need to discuss is the issue of the limited youth participation in governance. I think it's a general issue all over the places, but we cannot deny the fact that some states or parts of the country are more considerate than the other. So for us in Kaduna State, I would say the lack of the limited youth participation in governance is much, and I think it's an issue that we don't need to overlook. Youth often excluded from decision-making spaces. Existing frameworks do not adequately institutionalize youth inclusion beyond token representation and all that. And I feel like it's very important to not only engage young people, but also institutionalize the framework. Let it be a system. Let it be kind of a right, because we believe that young people are the future, and they always bring fresh perspective to the decision-making processes. That is just one. And another challenge is there is with implementation of youth policies. A lot of young people in Kaduna State are doing a lot of work or pushing a lot of policy recommendations, but while the youth-related policies and the strategies exist, implementation is inconsistent due to poor coordination, if I may say that, limited funding, and weak monitoring mechanisms. So we also need to focus and look at this factor. It's a factor. All these factors are factors that I can talk much about or I can say a lot about, but due to time factor, I'm just trying to highlight some of the key challenges that we need to look at. And the next thing that is quite important as well is there is high unemployment and underemployment. And this is an issue that is leading to a lot of other menace in the state. Okay, when we talk about drug abuse, when we talk about yes, particularly drug, it is always going back. When you look at it critically, it's always going back to the unemployment and underemployment issue. There is a mismatch between education, training, and the labor market needs. And skills acquisitions and entrepreneurship policies are not sufficiently linked to real job opportunities, and also there is inadequate access to quality education and skills training. The last one I mentioned and this one are quite out that many youth, especially in rural areas, okay, in rural areas, they face barriers in quality education, in digital skills, and the vocational training that align with the emerging sectors. I had my brother just mention a similar issue in Jigawa recently. So these are basically some of the challenges that I feel like it's important to bring. And when talking about some of the recommendations or how the consortium can work in bridging these issues, I would say we need to come up with ways to institutionalize youth participation in governance. Okay, I mean, we need to establish or we need to push how this establish legally backed youth advisory councils at state and local government levels with clear mandate, not just establishment. Sometimes the laws are there, but there are not clear mandates or clear responsibilities. So we need to push that the state and local government with a clear mandate to influence policy design and also budgeting and also monitoring. This is very important. And also we need to see how we can strengthen implementation of youth policies, okay, by maybe create a dedicated interministerial coordination framework and framework with a clear rules timelines and budget lines for youth-related policies, which will be supported by strong, very strong monitoring and evaluation systems. And lastly, I would also recommend that there is a need to promote job creation and the market relevant skills, okay, by maybe align education and skills training programs with private sector needs, by partnering with industries, by partnering with industries and expanding apprenticeship and supporting demand-driven vocational and digital skills. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Yaya, for sharing that in-depth insight into some of the realities in Kaduna State and offering special recommendations. Thank you so much for that. So I know, let me just make a comment here. I know sometimes we might be having a lot of things that we've talked about or we have jotted down we wanted to share. So I think you can also feel free to share it with us, possibly by email, so that we'll get to document some of your thoughts more accurately, because I understand because of the limited time, you might not be able to share all that you have. So please, Jikawa, you've shared already. So coming down to Kaduna, hopefully I'll provide my email. Please do well to, at a later time, do well to please email some of these things to us and some of the research you've done. And that would go a long way in ensuring that we've gathered the responses appropriately. So moving forward in Kaduna, we have Justice Cafe, Nura Bashir. So please, you can also give us some highlights, and possibly once we share the document, we can see how we can compile them and possibly share them in the consortium group so that we can also see them and be up to date with some of the recommendations given from the state. Nura Bashir, are you there?
Yeah. Good day, everyone.
Yeah, so we appreciate it if you also highlight some of the things we want to say. I know because of time, we want to say a lot, but we might not have that time. But please, you can just highlight some of the key points, and you can be sure to send us an email some of the things that we think, and then we'll be sure to integrate all of these things together. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. It is my honor to be with you today. Yes. Looking at what is happening in Kaduna, even though I'm editing the lesson, not by normal entity. I'm from Kaduna. We run Justice Cafe, a civic duty and governance organization whereby we give youth a room where they can contribute in governance skills that related to governance and civic duty. Often running this organization led us to several different things and make us to understand how the environment is integrated together and where this integration comes between the youth and so-called elite that we are always complaining about. One of the most challenges that we are facing is that the cost of running election. So looking at all what we are doing, whether it is business, whether it is education, whether it is anywhere, politics is related to it. No matter how, whether it is religious or anything. So politics is related to authority. So looking at the lack of participation of the youth into the government, because they have energy, some they have good intention, but for you to run even a councillorship in a state, to be a councillor, it is the cost that you need to put is very, very huge. It's better for you to sit and use the money for something, because the probability for you to win the election is lower than what you are expecting, and the influence most of the what is causing this thing is that we don't have strategic power matching. Always we say now, this is the problem. Most of this is not northern only. This is almost entire Nigeria. This is the problem. So we keep talking about the problem instead of us to look at the solution. I know it is most of the time it is lack of education that usually leads us to this. But looking at this consortium, we'll look at how we can make our society aware that this is who they are, and this is what they are supposed to do, and this is what we are holding. Maybe in the next 20, 15, 10, 20 years, it will be a history. We can change the country. But if we focus on what we will get today, even us will depend on what we are doing. Yes. So much, all what I said is three things: lack of education, the cost of running politics, and selfishness of the youth. Those three things are the main factors that are causing us. Those that they don't know what to do, how to do, and when to do, and where to do, who to contact. Those they know, some they know where to do, what to do, how to do, and who to contact, but they don't have access to funds. And there are some they have access to funds, what to do, where to do, but they have selfishness. So if we can able to connect those that know how to do, what to do, and who to contact, with those that they don't know, they make them aware of what is going on. We can be stronger, much better than we are thinking. Those are the factors I can show in the environment that is causing us to be behind. Thank you all. I will stop here because of the time, but there is a lot to say. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for that. We sincerely appreciate you. So we have quite a number of people from Kaduna. Possibly those who might be coming next might need to keep their brief so they could also share with us some of the things that they have documented by email. So it's not initiatives. I think Baba, they have a representative from Smart Aid.
Yes, sorry, Rick will not be able to make it. So my name is Abdul, and I'll be representing him. Thank you so much for also having us. So I think most problems have already been highlighted. I think Madam Abdul from Jigawa mentioned how there's digital literacy gaps. That's a problem we also face here in Kaduna State. Madam Abdul also mentioned limited youth participation of youth in politics, and Madam Nur, who just spoke, mentioned of lack of education. Smart Aid genuinely believes that the critical gap is in the lack of education. We genuinely feel like that is where the problem is. And I won't go ahead, and I think these are the three highlights, or rather these are the three highlighted problems that Smart Aid genuinely feel need immediate solving. And I think something you would have mentioned just now about how we always talk about problems but not really solutions. So I think I'll go ahead and mention how Smart Aid is working towards solving that problem of education. For example, I'll use education, going first with education. So I think 2 months back, I was actually the program lead for a program we had here in Kaduna State, the Equal Test program. And in that program, we trained 100 teachers across Kaduna State in digital literacy skills. And it was a 3-day program, but the results were impressive, because we feel that if the person passing down education, the person cascading education is not qualified, then clearly the person who is receiving the education is bound to not receive the best of it, if you catch my drift. And it's a problem that we felt, okay, it needed immediate solving. And we also decided not to stop at the teachers, but also go down to the students. And we decided to focus on marginalized communities, and by marginalized we refer to disabled and also the women in society. I think that's something not many people have really mentioned. I feel like a lot of young girls are taken out of the discourse. So we decided to involve two schools. I think the Government Girls Secondary School in Barnawa and also the Kaduna State Special Education School, where we went there and actually saw the real problems these people are facing in terms of learning newer skills, digital skills, for example. And, it was very insightful, and I think for this consortium, where I'm coming from now is I genuinely feel like with the little we were able to achieve, just within the 2-3 weeks of which we organized our program, imagine what we'd be able to do collectively as a whole, as an entire consortium working together across the Northwest, if that makes sense. So I won't take much of your time, but I feel like it's something we should genuinely consider. Not just the talking aspect, but actually the implementing. And it's why I believe that we should consider a framework instead of an agenda, because that framework would outlive several administrations, and that whatever agenda is coming from that would revolve around that framework. If you get what I'm saying. So I think that's the short thing I have to say, so that I don't take up much of the time. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Abdul.
Yeah.
For some of the work that you've done, we appreciate you. And take it up. So we've documented some of the things that you've mentioned, and we proceed to the next organization.
Sorry, hello, Mr. Sadiq?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is, yes, so I'm sorry, please.
I think I'm struggling to hear you.
It's not good. We're not hearing it.
I think your network is bad. We can't hear you. So you can hear me, your network is bad. Possibly you can try reconnecting back, and then we'll have you talk. I hope that works. So we're having Yandy Tech Community. Are you there?
Yeah, I am today. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. I believe I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are. You are.
Okay. I think most have been shared by my other colleague from Kaduna for So basically, I think the numerous issues we also have he has basically identified them. So at this point, I think I literally don't have much contribution. It's going to be a repetition. So I think I have to just drop my mic and well done to my colleague from Kaduna. Thank you so much, Adil.
All right, thank you so much for taking that share. We sincerely appreciate you. So we'll be moving to Kano State, and first on the list would be having Startup Kano. Either if you're there, you can take the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I actually had a presentation, so am I free to share my slides?
Yes, you can, but you have to be as brief so that we will meet up. But we'll also get the slides and get all of the insight that you've been able to put in together.
Okay, sure. That's brief as can be actually.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to start because everyone has their own perspective. So I'm just going to give a rough run through on who we are. So for Startup Kenya, we are the Innovation Development Center, and we are dedicated to accelerating application of social capital and technology for economic prosperity. So we are an open lab, we do incubation, and we try to promote and advocate entrepreneurship, agribusiness, as well as self-employment. So yes, that's who we are. So basically we have 6 strategic focus areas that we use in terms of making impact, which is the infrastructure, the access to technology, education, entrepreneurship, gender, and then co-creation. So some of the key challenges so far from our own perspective and based on our expertise and people we have worked with, there is now limited capacity for early stage startups because we do a lot of incubation and acceleration of startups. We find out that they often struggle to secure modest early stage funding, and most of our local investors are quite hesitant when it comes to giving funds because they don't really have much understanding of what the startup is. And then there is the issue of investor misalignment. Our northern investors don't really know how the startup works. They just can't take their money and give you because they have more of they have expectations of rapid high returns, and that is not how it works with early stage startups, And then our policy lines are quite blurred. There is lack of clear policy distinction between startups and SMEs. So you see that most of the time the businesses are quite unsuitable. They have unsuitable frameworks because there is that lack of a structured framework that would differentiate both of them and then have a needs assessment for both of them. And then there is the inaccessible microfinance. We know that most of our microfinance institutions, they often have these stringent commercial and banking rules. And, these loans are quite inaccessible to our young founders because they usually don't have the traditional collateral you can have and say you're trying to get a loan. And then infrastructure deficiencies, which is very, very important. It's quite inconsistent because looking at internet access, you and I know that today in this era we are in, internet is like the base of everything we do. If for today they say there is no internet, so there is that issue of internet access, unreliable power supply, and these are all things that pose hurdles for our founders. And then there is the issue of investor readiness gap. Many of the founders we've worked with, despite their innovative ideas, we find that they lack the exposure to proper structuring because most of our startups just jump into building startups and then they fail to be quite intentional when it comes to their structuring, looking at things like governance, accountability systems. So you find out that anytime they come across investment opportunities, they are actually not ready because they don't have the right structures in place. And then there's the issue of barriers for female founders. That's another thing on its own. And reason that we also focus on gender, women aside from the whole startups we work with, women founders, they have their own issues that they are dealing with because they face a lot of systemic challenges and we still to take that into consideration. And then we have government engagement. So looking at Kano State, looking at Kano State, our government interaction with innovation hubs is really inconsistent. Though with this tenure of government we have, thankfully, you can see that yes, these ones are particularly keen about innovation, looking at how they've been engaged since they came into power, and that's one advantage we can actually use. But aside from that, it's really not consistent and it's quite unstructured. And so you see that we lack the sustainable support and strategic coordination we need. And then there is this issue of labor-centric funding. And most of the funding discussions you see is always centered in labor. And why is that? Because Kano or not in general, we are very good at being conservative. We don't tell our stories. We don't do things for people to know that we are here. And you know this world, if you don't say I am here, nobody knows you are here. So you find out that most of the time there are opportunities, but they go to Lagos because the Lagos people are loud. And then you see that we kind of have this issue where our vibrant startups are neglected, and then we are always not up to par with the others. So for ongoing collaborations, what we have been doing so far, like I said, we do incubation and acceleration of startups. So we have actively incubated and accelerated new and existing ventures. And guiding these founders from initial concepts to fully viable businesses with structured support and mentorship is something that has been helping them so far. And then issue of digital skills and entrepreneurship training. We provide comprehensive training to young individuals, particularly in digital skills that can either help them in their career path or in their entrepreneurship journey. And we tend to focus on those outside formal educational systems because these are two different things. And then investor readiness programs. We have a couple of programs we run, and it has been working so far. We have programs like Star, where we prepare the founders for investment by enhancing their business models and structures, their governance and financial reporting so that they are able to meet the standard when it comes to seeking funding. And then climate awareness and sustainability. You will notice that there is this high shift into climate action. And yes, we also have a Zero Hub, which is one program we do outside of Kano. And this way we try to integrate climate awareness and sustainability principles into all our youth entrepreneurship initiatives. And this, in turn, will foster eco-conscious business practices. And then ecosystem and policy engagement. We have actively participated in ecosystem development and policy dialogues. And
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And giving me time, we sincerely appreciate you taking time to document all this. We sincerely appreciate, but we have to just cut you. We sincerely apologize for that. But we'll get all of this resources and we'll ensure that it fits into the perspective and all of our subsequent engagement. So sorry for that. We appreciate you. I hope there's no challenge.
No, there's no challenge. So I was going to the last slide, but it's fine. So I'll stop sharing now.
So are you finalizing?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I thought you said you wanted to share this from me, but I think these are things we could also share in the group, since it's some document that will be handy for us. So I think we should just move on because of time, so that we'll be able to take on other states. So we'll be moving on to the next state. We have Today for Africa. They are implementing their project in Kano State. So they have given their perspective from Kaduna to the base in Kaduna. So we're moving to Katsina State. So for Katsina, we have Restore Hope Development, Aminu Suleiman. If you're there, would appreciate that you also come in briefly to share with us some of the realities in Katsina State. Thank you.
Okay, it's like Aminu is having a network challenge.
No, good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Aminu Suleiman from Kaduna State, Damusa local government to be speak. I'm the CEO and founder of the Store of Development. I've heard all what my brothers and sisters said. I think I will make it brief here. The challenges that most of our colleagues made mention they forget to trace the root causes of this problem, which is insecurity. I'm from Damusa local government, one of the 16 forefront local governments that are facing insecurity in the state. So almost all what is causing the problems we are facing in the Northwest is insecurity, because insecurity is contributing to low access to education, good healthcare facilities, unemployment, etc., etc. I think as a consortium, we are dealing with Northwest, and one of the mission and vision is we are going to meet with these stakeholders and see how we can contribute our quota towards development of the region. I think first and foremost, we should concern about insecurity that is drawing us back. And most importantly, all we do or we say, we should have a scientific based evidence, because when we are meeting these people, we should go with them with the evidence. This evidence will prove to them that, yeah, this is how we got the data, and this is what we want you people to do, because from the data we are going to make some decisions. So by and large, we should come together to do what is needful, because unless we contribute our quota towards securing the region, then we can achieve more. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Aminu, for bringing another unique perspective into issues concerning insecurity, especially in Katsina State, which also affects the region down to Zamfara and this is great for that break. So we're moving on to the next organization in Katsina, which is Quality Life for Persons with Disabilities. Ahir Gambo, if you are here, you can go on. I think Ahir Gambo is not on the call side. He was unable to join back after he left earlier. So we might be progressing to the other stage. So the next stage is Kebbi. And for Kebbi, we have...
Sorry, it's like they skip our organization. Yeah, you guys have been on the call.
Oh, so sorry for that. Oh, yeah. I just saw it. His participation in progressive development. Yeah. So you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be joining this meeting, and I thank the Red Africa Initiative for the opportunity to be part of this consortium. Aminu Suleiman has highlighted almost all the issues affecting Katsina and the Northwest region as a whole. We have so many issues, honestly, that we need to bring all the stakeholders on board to address them. Apart from highlighting the challenges, I would like to talk about the commitment from the government that we had. We already have the Startup Act domesticated at the state level. We also have the Disability Rights Act also being domesticated, which I believe Nahiru Gambo wanted to say earlier before we dropped from the court. So we have all the enabling environment in Katsina State to engage these stakeholders. Part of the project we are also implementing has to do with a lot of engagement with these stakeholders, which we have already started. So I just want to bring to your notice that Katsina has a government that's listening, meaning that our government always listens, and we were able to establish a cordial and harmonious working relationship with the stakeholders in the state assembly, the executive, and what have you. So this consortium has come at the right time when we were carried along, and we are going to put our best to see that the goal or objective of this consortium is achieved.
On the issue of OGP also, Kaduna State has already submitted the letter of intent to join the Open Government Partnership, and there is another project that our organization is implementing with support from different donor partners that focus on making sure that the state government OGP action plan has been developed, and we are going to try to see how we can also extend the OGP to the local government level. But we are still having issue of youth inclusion. Young people in Kaduna are not included when it comes to policy and decision-making process in the state. Most of the committees being constituted by the state government, young people are not fully represented. So I think when part of this youth consortium, part of the state working committee in this youth consortium, we're going to make sure that we bridge this gap of youth inclusion in the state. I'm also on transit. Thank you. This is my little submission.
All right, thank you so much, Yahya, for bringing other perspectives as regards to some of the efforts by the government through the work you do and other stakeholders and the domestication of two policies at the state level. This is quite great one, and we hope that as part of our engagement, we will have more achievements altogether. So moving on to the next state, Kebbi State. So we have, just a moment, let me get to. Yeah, so next is Solistone Advocacy for Health and Education. Amir Umar Farouk. Do we have a representative?
Yes, I'm around.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Andy Umar Farouk. I'm the representative of Solistone Advocacy for Health and Education Initiative, popularly known as HEDU Africa. And part of all the problems you guys have mentioned from all other Northwest states are fairly similar to that of Kebbi State as well. But mostly what we have as the major challenges are the lack of education access. We also have the issue around digital literacy, insecurity, and the rest. So just like my colleagues from Katsina have mentioned, though insecurity in Kebbi State is just came into Kebbi State 2 years back, well, it is one of the major challenges we are facing now as far as youth engagement and youth access is concerned. So also, with limited time, I would like to mention in terms of the existing efforts related to OGP and youth participation, accountability or civility. Kebbi State is actually into OGP. Kebbi State joined OGP in 2021. And just last week, a representative from the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations and that of the government side have attended a program organized by the OGP National just to strengthen accountability in our budgetary processes. Then we also have, in terms of OGP, just as I mentioned, is one of the efforts we are making to ensure fiscal transparency and open budgeting. We also, through the OGP, we are making sure that citizens' participation in governance is actually very accessible and also very simple. We have, that is why on the issue of accountability, our organization, the Solistone Advocacy for Health and Education Initiative, we actually have a program in which we are part of the grantees of the East Africa. We are launching a program called Project Matters for Good Governance and Accountable Leadership in Kebbi State. And the goal of the project is to strengthen youth-led governance, advocacy, and promote transparency, inclusion, and accountability in Kebbi State. And the objective of the project is to advocate for the alignment of Kebbi State budget priorities with the national youth policies thematic areas. Also, part of the objective is to facilitate the adoption of OGP principles in 3 local governments. Kebbi State is actually having 21 local governments, but we are trying to kind of take 3 local governments out of those 21 local governments to empower the youth in those local governments through capacity building to champion governance and policy domestication. Just to take you back on the issue of challenges, actually, the youth of Kebbi State are left behind. Now, talking about the inclusion of youth in governance, the current administration in Kebbi State is actually having over 10,000 youths who are appointed as special advisors to the Kebbi State governor. But instead of them to actually advise the government on the right thing to do, you realize that a lot of them are engaged into posting the activities of the state government. Actually, they're into all this, something we call e-begging today in Kebbi State. A lot of them, the only thing they do is to post their fathers, not to hold the leaders accountable, and which we are trying to, that is why we are bringing this project Matasa from our organization, just to help these youth understand what they need to do to ensure accountability in governance. That is the little I have. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much, Amiru, for that. We appreciate the work you do and for giving the insight into the new trending in Kebbi State, that's the e-begging. That's quite intriguing. So by the way, thank you for that. So we're moving forward because we're running out of time. We'll not be able to give comments appropriately. So the calling on WORI, that's Women Rights Initiative from Kebbi State. So you're welcome. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Paul, and thank you for the time. Like my brother said, Amiru, we actually have a lot of youth that are in government, but actually what they do is e-begging, as he said. Like he said, he has already said most of what I'm supposed to say, so saying them is a kind of interpretation, and I'm not good in that. I think what we have is, I think we can build a shared youth development version for the Northwest youth, and my brother from Kaduna said the same thing, that we can go ahead to create a framework where we are coming together to sort out things that we're going to do that will fit our youth around the Northwest area. Building a shared understanding for the youth landscape in my state and other states of the Northwest. We have to capture some level priorities and perspective that we are going to use to solve some issues that our youth are facing right now. We need a guidelines to develop the state priorities that will affect our youth and actually bring them out from where they are. We have a lot of youth that are graduates, but they lack unemployment. And it's one of the major things that is making them be left behind. Those that have the opportunity, they are not really up and doing because they lack the education. And when you lack the education, you will lose it because you don't know where to go and you don't know how to get it right. So we actually have to walk down there, try to see how we can create that little understanding, awareness for them to know, even if they have the knowledge, how to use it is very important. When we talk about politics, we have a lot of youths in politics, but actually they are there, they are not doing the right thing. So our youth need to know whenever they have a little opportunity, they should use it well. Because opportunity comes not but once. When you have that, what are you doing? What are you going to do about the youth behind you? What changes are you bringing to the table? Our youth must be part of the decision-making table to change a lot of policies. Without you, you cannot be part. Being part will make you bring a lot of things because you are the one that knows how you feel, where you are, and where you are left behind. My sister from Kano said something about women. Yes, the women founders actually find it very difficult to access a lot of things when it comes for being a woman. Even if you want to support women, a lot of opportunities are actually coming from the federal government, from the state, from the international donors. But as far as you are a woman founder, accessing it sometimes is very difficult. And if I can say something a little. Sometimes the opportunity will come As a woman, probably if maybe you are trying to avoid anything that is going to stain your name on transparency, some people will start dodging. They will not want to involve you on it because they know you are not ready to compromise, one, the name of your organization, two, you don't want to be involved in unaccountability of some things. So they will try to say, no, this woman is very hard, this lady is this lady is that. They will not involve you. But thank God we have a lot of women that are ready. They are out there trying to see how they can bring changes. And that is why right now we are talking about women, trying to encourage them to be part of politics, because without women we cannot do it. We need to be involved to change the narrative. They need to know that women can bring a lot of changes to the table, and that women are ready to bring out what is in them for people to know that yes, a woman can do, and she can go to extra mile to achieve a lot of good things. I will not want to go back to talk about a lot of things, but then limited access to education is affecting a lot of youth. From my state, we have a lot of them that sometimes secondary admission is actually terrible. But then to those that even have the opportunity going to the school, it affects them because they don't have sponsors. Like my brother said, you see government being involved trying to support you, but I tell you it's a lie. All the politicians are what they're trying to hijack everything. If the government will assign someone to go take care of the youth, before you know, he will perform the rest of kind of like 1% of the money, which the government is not even willing already to check because they lack method of checkmating what they give out and how are they using it. So this is the problem we are facing. To health matters, when we go to the house, well-being of people, women, children, persons with disability, and youth across, I tell you, my brother, is terrible. Officers, most of you have seen how they have been on social media. KB State Hospital has been on social media. Most of us have seen it, which are with the amount of money that state government is receiving is actually a shameful thing. So when we talk about peace building, you know, peace is something that we have to start training our kids right from their tender age. When you lack peace, you lack a lot of things. Because lack of peace don't bring growth, not development. So we have to start working, trying to make our youth understand. Bringing lack of peace during politics in an area, it brings a lot of underdevelopment, because nobody will bring development into community if there is no peace. Everybody is scared. That is insecurity. We are facing it as a challenge right now in KB within just like 2 years, but I tell you, my brother, it's not easy. So I think the youth have to start using themselves well, trying to understand that it's not easy for you to just use yourself, use your time, because the full time that you have right now is the time that you need to use it judiciously, you need to use it well, you need to contribute a lot to a lot of things.
Thank you so much. I have to cut you here. We thank you for those great perspectives that you're sharing from insecurity to limited access to education. These are really profound, and we believe these are some of the issues that are surrounding the state, and we hope this would be integrated into our subsequent engagement to ensure that the framework or agenda will be developing, will reflect some of these realities and expectations and all. So please, this meeting is supposed to end by 12:30. We are just 2 minutes away to that, and we still have about some organizations of about 3 or 4 to speak. So please, I would want to bear with you, if I'm permitted, if we could please extend it to, I don't know, hopefully we'll have some other things as part of the agenda. If you please would not mind, we extended it to maximum of 1 p.m. with your permission. Can we go ahead, please?
Yeah, we can go ahead, but I think around to 1 it's time for prayer. So maybe we can still go with that. So some might just want to go and pray, while others can implement. Don't know.
Right, then that's fine. So we can
maybe only make it like 1250, so that that time will be enough for us to go
That's fine. That's fine. So we try and ensure that we're able to capture that. So next we have Gender Educators Initiative, Shafa'atu Suleiman. The floor is yours. Please try and go straight to the point. Next 1 to 3 minutes maximum, so that we can proceed. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Al'umma wannan gida barka da haka. Fatan duk kuna lafiya. Ubangiji Allah ya mana jagoranci.
Samuel, please, what are you doing for this organization? Sorry, just a moment. Samuel, please, which organization are you joining from? Please confirm.
Sorry, sir, you can just continue since he's not responding.
All right. So Shafa'atu, are you there? If you're there, please, the floor is yours. All right, I think Shafa'atu is not there. Progress. So the next is connected. We're moving to Sokoto State, connected hands family health and employment initiative. Uda Elizabeth, are you still there? Elizabeth? I think Elizabeth is still not on this call. She joined earlier, but possibly she might have left or due to some network challenges. So we hope we'll be able to have them. So moving on to Zamfara, we're having the Rescue Future Generation Charity Initiative. So I'm pleased of the representative. So I'll be glad, Mr. Zakaria, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you please confirm if you can hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. So first of all, I refuse to be angry for putting our steps at the end, Z for Z, right? Well, next time, let me just say maybe in the future, I'm very sure we'll come first. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Sadiq. Thank you very much, and everyone, for your inputs and perspective with respect to your own stakes. So actually, since there is not a lot of time, I'll just roughly mention a few things, even though they are very broad, but I'll just mention a little about them. So I represent the Rescue Future Generation Charity Initiative in Zamfara State, and I've been working tirelessly with respect to civic engagement in Zamfara State and advocacy for good governance and holding leaders accountable. So one thing that we noticed in Zamfara State, we have this lack of civic awareness actually. You cannot deny the fact that the whole Zamfara, I cannot say all, but most of the Zamfara youth, they lack this civic awareness of knowing their rights. What is even democracy, principle of democracy, what it takes, what is my right, you know, you don't have this civic awareness. We noticed this in our current project, campus accountability toward the awareness that we do. So we noticed that. So there is lack of civic awareness, and it means a lot, right? Voter apathy, knowing their right to go and vote, register vote, and the rest of that. Then second thing is volunteering activities, right? Most of our youth don't volunteer in organizations like this, you know, so they can have experience. So that is that lack of volunteerism. And most importantly, lack of mutual relationship between the youth and the government of Zamfara State. That is this lack of mutual relationship between the youth. Because I have never seen a collaboration between a youth organization and the government, or let me just say Ministry of Youth, you know,
having funding from the Ministry of Youth to organize a youth event and stuff like that. So we have that lack of mutual relationship between the government and youth. And that is why we are pushing for a civic club establishment in all secondary schools. We have already sent a letter to the Ministry of Youth to pay a courtesy visit to him so we can see how we can go about this. Then next thing is lack of access to opportunities. Yeah, I believe we are all leaders here and we have access. We benefited from so many opportunities here, be it national, local, and even international and global opportunities. We benefited, right? But our young people in Zamfara State and even Northwest in general, they don't have this access to opportunities. They don't know where these opportunities are coming, right? So I think it would be good when this consortium think about how can we, organize a program or give access to opportunities to this our young people in Northwest. And not only access to these opportunities, but how to go about them. They don't know how to apply, how to get a very good CV, how to write an essay, and a lot of that. Then, in terms of governance as well, when it comes to accountability and transparency, we also have this lack of limited access to information, getting budget from ministries and House of Assembly. And that is this, our leaders, I think only once or twice I've seen a lawmaker organize a town hall meeting. So our leaders don't organize town hall meetings. That's why I said it's very important we have civic awareness so that people should know that our lawmakers are supposed to organize such town hall meetings for us. Then I had most of the participants saying about lacking of youth participation in politics. This is very vital actually, even though some of the youth are engaging in politics, but how do they engage? So I believe it is high time that this consortium thinks about how can we have a capacity building training for young aspirants that are going to aspire for a political position starting from 2027. So not only giving them this capacity building training, but giving them the campaign strategies, the resources, the mentorship, and even following up. If there is even financial support or link we can give them, and let's also follow up with let's monitor and evaluate their action continuously, even when they get elected. We should follow up. That's what we are lacking behind. So if someone is already part of this consortium team network, you are opportune to be trained on politics, campaign, and stuff like that. Then it is our responsibility also to follow up with how far you are doing, what you are liking, and what is the improvement. Then second to the last is spreading fake news in terms of insecurity in Zamfara State and Northwest in general. So in Northwest, we are very good at spreading fake news without even verifying, right? So it's high time we should think of how we can get rid of this spreading fake news and this insecurity that is bothering us. Because sometimes things do not happen up to the extent that some people will just be spreading them in the Northwest. Then, of course, someone mentioned inclusion of persons with disability is very vital as we contributed to the establishment of PWDs in the PWD board in Zamfara State. Alhamdulillah for that. Then, lastly, is the poor OGP performance in Zamfara State. I believe you all heard when the OGP expert mentioned that in the Northwest Regional workshop that has been done in Kano State. So I think this is our take, and thank you. Over.
All right, thank you so much, Zakaria, for giving us that in-depth, more insight into realities in Zamfara State. This has been taken well note of, and we'll be sure to incorporate them into our subsequent engagement. So I'll be going back a bit to Sokoto State. We have Modibo Suleiman Lucy, who is representing Connected Hands for Family Health and Empowerment Initiative. So we'll be glad to take you now. The floor is yours. Modibo Suleiman, are you there? right, I'm having challenges hearing him. So move on to Zamfara State. We'll be calling on representative from Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Zamfara State Chapter. Benjamin Umar, are you there? Benjamin, are you there? Please confirm. I think we're having challenges getting them. So we'll not waste time. We'll move on to the next item on our agenda. So based on all of these things that we've been able to share in terms of our state level perspectives, which, like I humbly requested earlier, I would appreciate that you share it with us. Though some of the things that I've noticed that some of the things I've not seen us presenting data-backed evidences, but I hope maybe they are part of some of the things that we've documented, but we can also be well to integrate some of those things so that whatever we're saying is not just based on assumptions. It's maybe true, but then without necessary data to back them up, we cannot be able to ascertain how true they are. So next will be defining our collective identity, where it will be a section where we'll agree on a name that we would be choosing to call this consortium. We want it to be a name that would reflect the regional focus and the purpose of this consortium, the mission, and also the long-term objectives that we hope to achieve. And Tabasa at the moment will be the one to coordinate that session. So please, you can just take some recommendations, and then we'll also get to finalize on what we'll be agreeing on. Abbas, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Sadiq. Good afternoon once again. My name is Abbas Adamu, and I am the programs manager here at Connect Africa Initiative. But on this particular NYFS project, I am the Youth Engagement and Leadership Development lead. So, all right, everyone. I want us to take the next 10 minutes, let me not say 15, to adopt a shared name for this consortium. We want something that's not temporarily labeled or something that we need to revisit later. I don't know if it is something that we can collectively agree on, but the goal is to leave this particular meeting today with a name that reflects who we are as a collective, as a consortium across the Northwest region. So I'm going to guide this process just to take us back to why the consortium exists. The consortium exists strictly to strengthen youth-led organizations across the Northwest to lead on governance, policy engagement, and democratic participation. So I'm glad that quite a number of us here are already doing so. We are talking about joint advocacy, policy dialogues, which I know some of us are already doing that. We're talking about applied research, monitoring budgets, and new policies like Sadauki mentioned earlier. So, I don't know. Before we suggest names, I want us to agree on how we are going to judge them. And we can also use the chatbot to make suggestions. So here are three things I'm proposing. First, the name I want us to suggest should clearly anchor us in the Northwest region. Secondly, it should also reflect our shared mission around youth leadership, governance, and policy influence, not our individual organizations here, because we are talking as a collective, as a consortium. Third, the name should still make sense years from now, even as the project or funding elapses. It should be something that whenever we mention it, it will be clear enough for people to understand, yes, this is the Northwest Youth Consortium. So are we comfortable using these three tests?
Yes.
All right then. So let's generate options. Do you want me to call each person to suggest one name, or we're going to take it at a random? If you have any suggestion, you can just indicate, and we'll give you that space to make your contribution. Which one should we go with? Remember, you can use the chatbot or you can use emojis to respond. Hello? All right, I think it should be random. All right, Usman. Speaking of random, so first I will call you, and then next I will call on Abdul Basiru, because I recall earlier Abdul wanted to make a suggestion when he was making his own contribution. So please go on. Which one?
I think it's best if maybe someone goes before me. Not so good with select.
All right. So where is Abdul Basiru? I recall earlier you wanted to suggest names for the consortium. Unfortunately, it wasn't time, so the host, Sadiq Rada, had to coach you on that. So I'm passing on the mic to you now to go ahead and make that contribution you earlier wanted to. So Abdul, over to you, please. Oh, yes. Sorry about that. So please go ahead.
What I'm thinking is that anybody who has the name, comment his name, because this thing has already been shared. So there's people that already work on it. So for us, it will choose at random. Some prepare for it, but some doesn't prepare for it. So those that are prepared for it shall bring their name. Then we will make a choice on which one is the best. We'll make a decision, then choose the best and pass. I think this is the best option.
Yes, wonderful. I actually love that suggestion. Thank you very much, Nura, for thinking that. So for those of us that are already prepared for this particular session, this is your time. Go ahead and give your own suggestions of the name you feel we can adopt for this particular consortium. So Nura Bashir, I don't know, are you part of those that are already readily prepared? Or Abdul Bashir, go ahead, please.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity. As I mentioned before, mine is just support. Like there are two names that were mentioned in the paper. So I'm suggesting that we should go with the Northwest Youth Framework. Why? Because when you say framework, it is just a blueprint of the entire consortium, and it will be started. It's not just a now. It will be a long-term plan and the youth in the Northwest region. That's mine. Thanks.
All right. So if I get you right, Abdul Basir, you are suggesting that we name the consortium Northwest Youth Framework. We want. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, okay. So as I was saying, sorry about that. So Abdul Basir, you mentioned that we should name the consortium Northwest Youth Framework. So when talking about names, the framework, it's more of a document that we are going to be developing together as a consortium. But then what is that identity? What is that name that we are going to be using? Like for instance, Bridge Connect Africa, you see this is the name, and then we are coming to say, okay, we want to develop so particular framework. So as an organization, as a consortium, what is that name that we want to be identified with? I can see Aminu Suleiman raising his name, raising his hand. So Aminu, please go ahead and unmute yourself and give your own suggestion. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. I have one suggestion here for the name.
Okay.
Northwest Brighter Future Network.
Northwest Brighter Future Network.
Yeah.
Northwest Brighter future. All right, thank you very much, Raminu. I see another suggestion here on the chat box. Northwest Youth Consortium. Northwest Youth Consortium by Uthman. So far I've been hearing suggestions from the male only. Liamani, Aida Isa, you know one? All right then. So, but I would have loved to hear from the female side as well. Okay, I look at Northwest Youth Development Consortium. Northwest Youth Development Consortium. Keep them coming. Consortium. Northwest Youth Consortium. Yes. So, I mean, if you still want to contribute, because your hand is still up. Oh, okay. All right. So, so far, we have like 4 suggestions. So, I don't know. There's this similarity between what Sadiq proposed and what I proposed. Northwest Youth Development Consortium. But if I am to make a choice, I think I will lean more towards the Northwest Youth Development Consortium. But then, like I mentioned earlier, it is not a one-man. I want us to collectively agree on the name that we are going to be using for the consortium. Northwest Youth Leadership Policy Network. Northwest Youth Development Consortium. Northwest Youth Leadership Policy Network. All right then. So from what I'm seeing here is there is one of 2 keywords that cut across all of these suggestions. One, I know there is Northwest. We agree as a consortium working in the Northwest region. And then we agree that whatever it is that we're going to be doing, it's for the good of the youth, right? I would want your contribution, please. And then there is development. Development. Okay. Okay. So from what I'm seeing here and from the engagement so far, what stood out the most here is the Northwest Youth Development Consortium. And the reason why I said it stood out is because looking at the thumbs up, the reaction to receive under this particular name, I'm seeing 4 already. So even if we are to put it to poll, to vote, I know very well that this particular suggestion by Yahya Luka will actually top it all. Okay. All right. So
let's come again.
Yes. So yeah. Okay, am I audible now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm audible from my end. You are not stop. I cannot hear you.
Okay. I'm just saying that. Okay, I'm saying based on the suggested names, I can see the name that Yahya Lucas suggested actually topped the list. And if you will go with me, I want us to apply those tests we agreed on earlier. We said whichever name we're going to suggest the name should clearly anchor us in the Northwest region. If that's the case, the Northwest Youth Development Consortium already says that. And secondly, we said whatever name we're going to be suggesting should also reflect our shared mission around youth leadership, governance, and policy influence, not individual organization. And looking at the name, we will see that the name of the youth development is already captured, which already reflects that shared mission that we have around youth leadership and governance. So thirdly, we said the name should be able to make sense in such a way that long after the NYSF grant elapse, that name will still reflect that our mission. So that being said, are we all comfortable using this particular name suggested by Yahya Luka?
Northwest Development Youth
Development Consortium. Oh, more names are dropping. Northwest Youth Policy Action Consortium. So what do you all agree on? I think time is not on our side, and I want to be very time conscious here. I don't want a situation where we want to reschedule or want to extend the timing. Agree on this. And then another option we can actually explore is we can agree on a particular name here, and then we can continue the conversation much later on during the WhatsApp platform. It's all for us here to decide. The goal is I don't want to be the one making the decisions for ourselves, for us.
I go with the legal on actually too. I think it is better since we have to have some name. It's better to have one name before anything to know that what we are called is the room. So since there is no other solution, everybody we can make a listen. We can make it democratic. Let's count the people that choose this name and the people that choose this name. The people that choose who are the greater will just took. This is our option. This is our decision. It's for us to decide. So let us make it now. We are support the one that Luka sent. So everybody can choose the one that it is better. So the one that have higher number will be the one that we are using.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the poll is open now. Umar, Uthman, yes. So yes to what? Sadiq Abakashiru, Hassan M. Awal. What are you yesing for? Is it in support of the name proposed by Yahya or in support of any other name mentioned by other consortium members?
Yes, Mr. Abbas, to me, I support what Yahya Luka mentioned, right? Because, the consortium is something that is vast to put. And we shouldn't be confined to policy alone. We shouldn't be confined to, to different aspects. But development in the sense that it looks like a holistic approach, right? So today I go with Yahya Luka, yeah.
All right then. So ladies and gentlemen, Hassan actually has a different opinion. Northwest Youth, is it Alliance for Policy Transparency Initiative? Hassan, I think we've already...
It's not Hassan, it's Future.
All right.
I don't know why my this thing changed to Hassan. I have been trying to change it. I don't know how.
So
this is Future from ICAP Kaduna.
All right, Mr. Yusho from ICAP. I'm so sorry about that, but I think you need to go to the settings. All right, please do. All right, so going by this, we are going to go with the Northwest Development Consortium as proposed by Yahya Luka. And at this juncture, I want to thank you all for remaining focused and joining me to make this particular decision that I mentioned. Time is not on our side, and on that note, I would like to pass over the mic to Sadiq Karaki to continue with the session. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me. Sadiq, over to
you. So we have officially agreed that the name of the consortium is Northwest Development Consortium. So that has been well taken note of. So it's already past one. I don't know. Maybe we might have to put this and continue to work on go because it's time for our prayers already, but we don't know. In my just start round of those who might be wanting to go and pray might just step out if necessary, but we just need to ensure that we complete this section because after this we'll not be meeting hopefully till January. So sorry, just a moment, let me get to our agenda. So after this session, which we've agreed on the names, so briefly, we'll also agree on what we would be developing, whether it's going to be a Northwest Youth agenda or would be developing a Northwest Youth framework. Already suggestions have come in to us. We should be developing a Northwest Youth framework. So I don't know, maybe I will just put up a poll and then share it for you to take, for you to comment on what you think for the two. Some people have said a framework is more sustainable so that whatever government is coming into power, you already have those frameworks existing. It's just for us to review them and to see how it aligns with priorities for the current government and all. So I might just be sharing it so we can vote. All right, Sadiq wants to say something. You can go ahead.
Sadowki, I want to raise one observation, right? You made it clear, this is just like a roadmap. Are we creating a framework or maybe a youth agenda, right? So can you just give us maybe, for instance, a brief of what the agenda or maybe what the framework looks like? Because it will somehow guide that sense of direction. If which I believe I can share my view, on what means. If permitted, please. So without wasting much of time, so we have a clear distinction, right? We have a framework which I believe it's just like a formal structure, right? It's just like a blueprint. Maybe we set aside for stakeholders or maybe for government people, right? And then it includes maybe the vision, the values, or maybe the guidance or thematic focusing areas on what is expected and to be done. For instance, you can say, for instance, let's have, you can say, a Northwest Youth and Youth Policy Framework, right? Would somehow outlines youth inclusion principles, for instance, governance and accountability focus areas, how states aligns with the national youth policy and how youth actors collaborate with this. So even upon this, I believe if we go with framework, to my own suggestion, it's open, right? We cannot just say this thing is coming from one representative from which can appreciate it. No. So it's open, right? As I said, it's a consortium where every member would have to aid their views. So we had a project which is the PAGE project, and the PAGE project we developed a framework, and before that framework is adopted to see or maybe adopted and validated, it takes series of advocacies, personal series of back and forth between government stakeholders for them to adopt or maybe follow that strategy. So for framework I think it's kind of a little bit of a long term, rather than an agenda. So for me, an agenda actually here is more. I think it's maybe like an advocacy campaign roadmap, and it's right, and it benefits what young people want, what we want as a consortium, what young people want, and it's also I think identify priority issues and also demands. This is what we want to work for. So I believe a youth agenda here usually answers questions like what are the top issues affecting youth right now, right? And then what do we want the government to do? So this youth agenda is just maybe it's focused, it's more from the youth side, right? So what top issues, as I said, what top issues are affecting young people right now, and also what do the government, what do we want the government to do as youth or as consortium members, and what change are we demanding? So if you look at this, there are two different gaps which I believe for framework and also for an agenda. For framework, which I believe is long term, it denotes a lot of commitment from stakeholders. There's a lot of buy-ins, there's maybe sometimes there might be delays. And looking at the time frame, we have, for instance, less than 1 year to develop one of the things or the other, right? So this is just like, a preface, or we're just setting the phase of, how the project will be like, or for instance, also how our engagement to be like in terms of developing in terms of developing a framework or an agenda. So it's rather put to our choices. Let's change it's not something we just come up with and just say, okay, we want framework, we want agenda. So this is where the thinking process comes in. So let's be strategic here. Thank you. So this is what I have to say. So
all right, thank you so much for that expository regarding the two particular names we want to adopt, whether for an agenda or for a framework. So like I said, a framework is long term. I know there might be a lot of associated to it, but then we are looking for that this consortium will continue beyond the period of the current project. So that means that we'll be committing to ensuring that we work together in pushing forward for developing the framework and then for engaging strategic stakeholders in our state and also across the region for adopting that framework and it serving as a guide for engagement across the Northwest region. We're already having plans of engaging the Northwest Youth Development Commission. Sorry, Northwest Development Commission. My Egypt is coming into it again. So we'll also see how we work strategically with them, pushing forward for whatever framework that we're developing to gain their institutional backing, and then that will help us to also reach out to other stakeholders within the state. So based on what I'm seeing, we are already having about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 votes that they are saying that we should go with a framework. But then before then, I think some people are raising up their hands, and I want to give you the floor to speak. So Nisha Muhammad, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. And advocating for the past 3 years, and until this year that we're able to get the Kaduna State to adopt the agenda for adolescent and young people in Kaduna State. So there are also a lot of this agenda has been advocated at the national level. So you see, when we have an agenda, our government look at it is both the agenda and framework. It's an advocacy issue. When we have the agenda government will just can tell you that yes, we have adopted this your agenda and we name one of our program also around it. But when we have a framework will provide a strategic direction of what we want to achieve, the time framework and the timeline and whatsoever that we needed to. Where we have an indicator of where and when to start and where to monitor and who to hold responsible for whatsoever that is mandated to be able to take action, or the ministry or even the person the framework develop and also get the government adopted or adhere to. So I think it's very important that we go with the framework because it will give us more strategic direction in terms of actionable timeline or plan development or whatsoever to be able to implement. But when we go for agenda, we're going to just say yes. It's even aligned with my campaign. So I have an agenda in my campaign to transform education. But there is no framework to implement that agenda. So when we have a framework, I think it's better when we have government accept and adopt it through our strategic advocacy, then we have where to start monitoring and ensuring that the implementation of the framework has been adopted as well, not just a mere promises or just mere propaganda of saying, yes, we adopted the agenda, but there is no specific action of what to do next. So I think it's better, this will be more strategic, more engaging, where we have direct, actionable indicators to be able to monitor and ensure that the implementation of the framework has been also achieved. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. We sincerely appreciate that great insight you brought from that angle. So beyond of the agenda, okay, what are we aiming at achieving? So there must be a framework providing a strategy for achieving what we identified. So that's level 10. I know we have some few people join. I think Zakaria came back earlier. So we're trying to analyze whether we'll be developing a Northwest Youth agenda or a Northwest Youth framework. And based on the poll, just to give you back on some of the discussions we've had, so I think the majority of the persons have voted that we should go for Northwest Youth framework, right? Because of the sustainability measures and the long-term impact it will have beyond the mere agenda that will be developed in the very short term, and they might not fit into the changes that we want to create within the region. So I don't know if anybody has any comments again as regards to this. Does anybody have any further comments?
No, I think we are good.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Sadiq, I just want to say a very big thank you for just that very brief about the agenda and framework. And I think I will also go for the framework. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. So, committing that will be going with the framework, agreeing that will be coming with the framework also means that it will translate into our actions and commitments, because it's going to be a great of work, but I believe with the expertise that we're having and the great members sit here, will be able to pull that out in our respective states and across the region entirely. So we look forward to all of those commitments. And then finally, just to also highlight on some key things going forward, that whatever will be developed as part of the framework will fit into the survey that we'll be carrying out in January, and also all of our state level dialogues. Currently, based on the information we're getting, the national youth policy is being reviewed. So we'll also see how we can get to know what the level of the review processes, so that we'll also be able to integrate some of those recommendations at national level and trying to fit them to some of our regional contexts, while also gathering the regional perspective into that particular framework to ensure that it reflects both the national, regional, and state level realities that we're facing. So let's just take note of that. So lastly, as part of our agenda, just to highlight that our level of engagement will cut across the community level, the state level, regional level, and national levels, which from our conversations here we've been able to capture that, and to also emphasize that we'll be working closely with some of our fellows as part of the Youth Leading Change program, which we believe there are expert organizations. They will be working on implementing some projects within the state across the 7 states, and we believe that will be very critical in providing their guidance in implementing their projects, which would also reflect and further push for the work they do in terms of visibility and more grounding in your state. So it's not just going to be for the fellows alone or for anybody else, but it will also be about you and how you've been able to contribute to that. And then there are some areas relating to thematic groups, which I think because of time, we might just discuss them in the WhatsApp group more detailedly. But I just want to get one or two things on what you think, because we've been thinking on how can we create thematic groups that will have key persons who would champion some of these thematic groups in terms of leading it and also providing insight. So I want to hear one or two persons. What's your think about this? Do you think it's a good thing that we do as part of the consortium? And possibly why? Can you? Yes, Bishop, you can go ahead.
Yes, I think for me it's very important that we create a thematic group, because all of us has expertise in different thematic areas. So when you have somebody that is leading the area that is an expert and also has experience and connection with different thematic groups, it's very important to have that, because it will be easier for us when we want to come up with a framework. For instance, I know I'm very good in when it comes to the issue around health, around peace building. So if I'm leading anything around health, around peace building, I know I can do better, and also have an idea of project that is happening around in the Northwest zone, around health, around peace building, and also issue around gender and so. So if you have people that have these different areas, different experience in those different areas, leading a thematic group, it will be easier for us to be able to say, okay, you come up with something around this area, also you coordinate around this area, so that at the end of the day, all we need is to come back and harmonize what we have, and also make input where we have seen that there are things that do not go well, then we all come as a group and then make an input to make it standard based on our needs. I think it's very important. I'll buy the idea of having the thematic groups and also group leads that individuals that will lead those groups based on their experience and also knowledge in the area. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. I think another person has filled up his hand, so we just take that briefly. Nura Bashir, go ahead. Nura, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you.
Please, I want you to briefly, I went for prayer, so like for 5 minutes, I don't know where I will take up.
Okay.
Just what is the topic about so that I will if there's anyone that I can contribute.
All right, though we are really we've gone ahead, but then maybe one of the things we've agreed on after he's left is to what we'll be developing, whether a Northwest Youth agenda or a Northwest Youth framework. And we agreed that we'll be developing a Northwest Youth framework. That's one. And then two, we are bringing up the issue whether it's good that we have thematic working groups, which Isha suggested that it would be great because we have diverse expertise and that will help us to streamline it. So I just thought you wanted to contribute to this, but that's just a brief of what is discussed. And then, are you clear with that?
Clearly, I cannot hear you now. I had said that is all what we have discussed.
I think you're having network challenges. Possibly we just said it.
Well, now I can hear you clearly.
Okay, we agreed on what we'll be developing, whether a Northwest Youth agenda or a Northwest Youth framework. And we agreed that we'll be developing a Northwest Youth framework because it's long term. Number two, the floor was open on whether it's good that we have thematic working groups. And one member of the consortium backed that it's very good because we have different expertise, and that would help us to tailor down to specific areas where we have more strength, ensuring that we're able to contribute meaningfully to the work we do as part of the consortium. So next thing I'll be moving on, I would also want us to agree. Now, as part of our onboarding, we mentioned that we'll be having a steering committee consisting of 7 members, one representative from each 7 states. So I also want to hear your take on what you think about this, because after every of our agreements here, we'll also roll out and so we're able to finish the conversation on our WhatsApp group and agree on all other things. What do you think about this? Should we have the steering committee?
Yeah, it's better to have the committee, but we have to know that our framework and if we have to define what we are doing, then we can have the committee. The committee can know how to source the kind of talent they need. Even though there is some time that somebody is better in this kind of committee than in this kind of committee. In such case, we have to consider it, because if you put a person that can deliver things better here and put him where he can deliver second class work, like it is downgrading. It's better to put everybody. It is strategic to choose state by state, but we should not make it fixed. Every state need to be something. If someone step down or think there's somebody that can do better, or someone think that there is some committee he can do better, then as such, the person should speak, or the person that can nominate him should speak, or the person that should step down should speak. Those are things that we put on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So just to add more context, now, part of the roles that we mentioned was that we'll be having the Secretariat, which Connect Africa initiative will be coordinating. But then we need to also have a steering committee, which comprises of the 7 members who would provide strategic guidance and also help in back. Just to provide that context. So what do you think about this? Is it a great idea we continue to work towards having Consortium.
Mr. Sadoki, listen back. What is better for each organization is that since we already agree on the name, what we are going to do, so it's better for us to drop the committees so that everybody can look at the committees and do their research. Then we can come, everybody can choose their committee. If you see the people that choose source committee are greater and there is committee that is cluster, we can randomly to some people to move to other committee.
Okay. So I think why is that
better for us, for you to upload the documents so that everybody can see it in the group. Then we can give a date from so time to so time. Everybody can choose his own what he wants. If it is full, if it is a written document, it depends on if it is form. I think it will be better, but everybody can put his own input.
Okay, I think what you are not clear is that we talk about thematic working groups, where would also that is what we're sending out, and everybody will pick based on where he thinks we have more strength. Now the committee is better. You understand? So this is what you are speaking to is the thematic groups, not the steering committee. You understand? The steering committee is a 7-member committee, one representative from each state, and I said they will provide strategic guidance. So that's why I just wanted us to align on that to hear your thoughts. The consortium, so that if it's something you think we can push forward, we'll push forward to see how we can roll out members and representatives from each of the 7 states. All right. Human rights initiative say yes. Is there any more yes or no so that we know we're working with? Do you have more responses, please? I know they have stretched beyond the time limit, and we really appreciate your patience. All right. Thank you. You can keep that coming. So just, I think we have come to an end, and I will just take on the next step following these conversations. So once again, I would want to really appreciate you for your patience, for staying this long. We've added about 1 hour to this session, and we're really humbled that you have stayed all this long, and we appreciate all of your contributions and all that you have immediately contributed. And we believe that this will shape the course of our engagement going forward. Now, Sadiq, you have something to say briefly, please?
Yes, I just wanted to add one thing. We shouldn't forget to share, state level perspective in some of the documents, right? We mentioned a lot of things, and which is very, very important for us to keep that in record. And it's very, very important. And while sharing those documents, you should come up with, for instance, a little bit facts to back those, those challenges that we mentioned, please. We'll also share the mails you guys would share, the documents, and also keep some relevant places. Thank you very much, and also have a wonderful day.
All right. So thank you for that emphasis. So just lastly, going forward, let's be reminded that in January, we'll be having a regional capacity strengthening workshop. It's going to be physical here in Kano State. Tentatively, we are looking at the 19th of January. So just to feed you on some of the things that we're looking at, so it will be a 3-day engagement, 3 nights, actually 2-day workshop, but it's going to be 3 nights. So just to take note of that. And then we'll also be rolling out our Northwest Street Policy Survey in January. Hopefully, we're looking at the 12th. That is, I think, second week of January. So please let's take note of that, and we'll further engage you, and would really want your support, especially in pushing for the Northwest Street Policy Survey to enable us to give a lot of responses that will help us to really understand some of those unique challenges that have been faced in each of the states across the Northwest region. And with this, we'll come to an end. I don't know if anybody have any questions or any other remarks here. We're fast. Spend the time here, but if there's any, I just take one. But if there's none, please endeavor to fill in the attendance, and you can share your feedback as well.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Lastly, he said there is something he reminded us about something.
Yes,
Please,
yes.
you can share it in the group so that everybody can remember. And the last thing that I saw in the chat now regarding the choice of framework that we have done, I want us to know that in one framework we can have different agendas, because the difference between framework and agenda have specific particular time to achieve. It is some goal you set, some goal you want to achieve now, end say you want to end book building in the 2030. That is your agenda. You choose your agenda. So we choose framework as a holistic approach, but we can have an agenda for certain period of time if we want. But this one is based on the people. It is educative, and thank you all. I wish everything the best. Have a nice one.
All right, thank you so much. I think with this, we'll call it an end. Thank you so much for wishing you fruitful Christmas celebrations, and we look forward to having you next year. And Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you.
Happy New Year in advance.
Wish you the same.
Thank you, family. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
Your picture today.
Oh,
thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm not sure if I'm talking about. Hello?
We forgot the picture.
We forgot the picture today. But the picture also to have with you guys.
Can I your camera, please?
Over the video.
Sadiq, I cannot find your one of your interns here. The one we connected your camera.
Among the interns.
Who is in charge of the WhatsApp group? I can't find myself in the group.
Oh, so sorry for that. Can you just let me share my contact with you so that I will just follow up. You can just follow up.
Okay, please.
So that I can add you up. All right.
If you can all smile, please. Cheese. Thank you very much. You're done.
That's pretty tough. Not done. So I will say it now.
Okay. Let's share it. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Attend that if you have not done that, but if you have seen it, you can exit right away. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I know.